Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. 3 videos today, guys. The reason being is because there's just so much to talk about. This is going to be a rather interesting video for those of you who care about financial markets, who care about inflation and such topics. Because essentially we had the official CP, Consumer Price Index, CPI, come out. Inflation is running very hot by all accounts. And you'd have thought, based on this yesterday, that assets that are considered hedges against inflation would do quite well. In actual fact, we saw the opposite. We know this had quite a bit to do with the Evergrande sort of speculation that they weren't going to make their debt payments yesterday. They did obviously subsequently make those payments. The owner of Evergrande came out and put his hand in his pocket, as of course he should have. But there's something very, very strange going on. And this was highlighted. Somebody sent me a clip of Crypto Banter. I don't personally watch the channel, but they were essentially talking about inflation. They were talking about open future interests and how we saw a huge spike in this based on the inflation consumer price index news that kind of clarified that inflation was running very hot and that it's probably not going to hold you or benefit you to hold fiat currency, certainly the dollar. So we know that inflation ran very hot. The bottom line is the official CPI, and this is an alternative version. Now, I follow the alternative version. I think inflation has always been a lot higher than the CPI would have illustrated. So I think, inflation's always been a lot higher than what is the official figures because they manipulate them, etc., etc. But even the official figures were very high, 6%. So on this news, what you essentially saw was a huge futures open interest. This is from Dylan Leclerc, and essentially he's pointing out, you can see this huge spike here in future interests. Bitcoin, of course, you've got this wick here from Bitcoin. Obviously, the green wick is the one that I'm talking about when this news came out, and then instantly you get a pullback. It's kind of as if somebody is trying to manipulate this market. You guys make your own opinions up, but there's a lot that doesn't really add up here. This is the dollar strength index, of course. So inflation is very high, which means that your dollars, your fiat money, your $1 is now worth, in terms of buying power, is getting eaten away at a more substantial rate. Meanwhile, we're seeing strength. There's a lot that goes into this, the dollar strength index, like the forex market and how we're seeing a lot of other currencies show a lot of weakness, the Turkish lira, etc., etc. But ultimately, in comparison with Bitcoin, we should have seen Bitcoin go up in relation to this. It does very much seem, and in the clip that I was sent of Crypto Banter, they were calling for manipulation, for whales to have essentially bet against the margin. And this is why we've seen the flush out that we've seen. This is an important factor to understand. What I'm trying to do with this video is teach people that there's a lot of manipulation at play in markets, and that often price is a very poor representation of value. There are plenty of ways we can weigh up value. There is a true value, there is an emotional value, you name it. And price is only one metric of doing that. And price is determined by a series of factors that are often not related to the underlying asset. And this is why I'm highlighting this, because it is very strange. It was a fantastic clip. I've actually subscribed to that channel now. I hadn't previously watched them, but one of the individuals made a very good point about manipulation and how things just don't quite add up. You have this huge spike in futures open interests, and then this is due to inflation, the official CPI coming out at 6%. Meanwhile, the dollar goes up in strength. We see a move for Bitcoin, and then we see a series of liquidations take place, a series of margin calls take place, and this is all tied in with the Evergrande news. They manipulate markets through various means. Media is, of course, one. But I just thought this was an interesting video to kind of maybe, help some of you understand that there is a lot of corruption involved in markets. The winning strategy is to invest in something based on the fundamentals, based on your beliefs in it, your due diligence, and to ignore volatility, certainly in something as volatile as the cryptocurrency space. So I just thought that I would bring that point up. I want to make another point in regards to inflation. Many people don't really care to learn about the financial realm. Well, I've got news for you. If you get paid in fiat money, you need to care about it, because what essentially we've seen during the past 2 years is a huge inflation in the monetary supply, which subconsciously or subconsequently dilutes the money that you get paid every month. And what I mean by that is prices of commodities go up, and your wage, your fiat money that you get paid, essentially goes down in value, and you're not compensated for that, even though the reason that your fiat money that you get in your wage goes down is it has nothing to do with you. So it's all one big corrupt game, and it is a game. This was, I mean, that I've got to big up those two on Crypto Banter, because that was really quite a well thought out and studied reasoning for why what happened yesterday happened. We have covered this as well, but we've covered more the Evergrande and the issues that there is with that. Evergrande are going to fail at some point. Whether that's today, tomorrow, when their next payment's due in December, we will see. But this is a company that there, in my opinion, is no return for unless we see a bailout. So this is obviously going to cause an issue. But it really is quite strange that, we're now probably seeing the dollar come down in strength. I mean, inflation runs extremely hot, which means your dollar value is less in terms of buying power, and we see this huge spike. Sometimes markets just make no sense, guys. That's why you should be investors and not traders. If you are a trader, then you better know what you're doing, because you're going to get eaten alive. Take that from somebody who's blown up more accounts than I care to mention. I still do trade with around about 5% of my overall portfolio, to a degree of succession, but that's because I keep very tight stop losses and know when to take profits and have a strategy going into it. So I just thought that was quite interesting to share with you, to share some of you people out there who are perhaps embarking on a investing journey. That's something you want to be as an investor. This is just a bit of a lesson, kind of showing you that there's a lot more. When you look at a chart, and people think TA is nonsense, but really a chart is a representation of a plethora of different elements, and that's how you want to look at it. It's painting a picture that there's a backstory to. What you see is the story, and there's a backstory to it that kind of will make everything make sense. So I'm going to love and leave you on that note, guys. I just thought this was quite interesting, and it in itself is a lesson. One reason I am so zealous in regards to investing is because it's changed my life. The simple concept of investing consistently in solid assets, in some cases commodities, over a period of time has completely changed my life, and I think it can do the same thing for you. And I don't think you need a lot of money to move that needle, move that wealth needle in your life. We are going to make a video on how you can save money. One question that I get is, look, I only earn this much a month, things are tight, but there's always ways you can save money. If you're complaining to me that you've got no money left and you're wearing really expensive designer clothing, I've got no time to deal with you, because that is a big, you can't see the... Anyway, we'll go into that into another video. I'm going to love and leave you on that note, guys. Just a short and sweet video. I thought I'd kind of explain this. We did have the CPI, CPU stats out, which showed that inflation was running very hot, pushing people into Bitcoin, and they kind of get slapped and kind of punished for doing that by the whales. All I have for you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to love and leave you on that note. If you enjoyed the content, a like is always appreciated, so as a comment, and I'll catch you in the next one.